Yeah, we reviewed this stuff on the live call, Chris. So we kind of like went over a lot of it freshly. Tracking's the good part. Dennis, a couple questions, immediate questions that
Yeah,
I had. So we have sort of like, and I can show you, but our
right.
traditional lead gen campaigns, the ones that have like just kind of worked on this platform over time have been, your typical like white paper sort of ad. These are
Wow,
static
okay.
image ads. They
Let's
do
stare in. Okay.
they do pretty decent lead gen. I want now that we have like some of these top of funnel dollar a day stuff going, I would
Uh-huh.
love to like find better ways to approach the further downstream funnel parts. So lead gen's great. If we could crack the code for webinar registrations, that would be like probably one of the highest value actions we could get the audience that we're growing to take. And so I would love to hear sort of your approach for developing those like the further down the funnel videos and stuff. Chris and I just filmed a handful that we're going to put out there and test. If you have any insights or tips for like, yeah, webinar registrations and then eventually, sales trials for our dollar a day campaign, the sort of targeting and optimization you do around it. I think we got into it a little bit last time, but do you retarget the video views as you move people down the funnel and stuff like that?
I think you're big enough that you could create one big retargeting bucket of all the people that have
Mhm.
watched a video. But I think given that what you do, like these weekly live webinars, and that's been your bread and butter for several years, if you can tell me like what is it in the user journey that causes people to sign up for the webinar? So this is called the reverse customer journey. So instead of going from the top of the funnel all the way down, if you go bottom up, they're paying for one of the programs, and there was something about what they learned in the webinar that caused them to pay for the program. So what was that? What was it that happened? What was it that you said? And then when they sign up for the webinar, again, reverse customer journey, what was it that they said or thought or happened that caused them to sign up for the webinar? And the answers to those questions are the content that we need put up in the stage just before it.
And is this a case where sort of the thing dictates the form? For example, I mean, I guess ultimately we should just try it all when we kind of define those things. But do you do specifically 1 minute videos for calls to action?
Well, a mix of images and 1 minute videos. So for example, if there's a particular lead magnet that solves a particular problem,
Mhm.
their listings package or, whatever it might be, or how to do this one thing, or that your chat GPT thing, like the closer it's tied to a particular object that solves their problem, the more we're going to show the image of it or hold it up or have a video with it. So it's not I think your question is, should we care more about like the exact form? Is it a 1 minute video? Is it a carousel ad? I don't think it matters. I think what matters is
Yeah.
what's the thing we're talking about. What is the last thing, of all the things, by the time they've signed up for a webinar, they've probably seen, 15 or 20 things from Paperless Agent, right? To kind of know who you are and see other agents are, using you guys and see that Chris and Gary know what they're talking about, but I want to know, okay, so they've been exposed to all this content, stuff that's been boosted, which is great, building top of the funnel. But what's the thing that you said, or the thing that happened? And it could be exogenous, like something that happened in their life or their business, that at that
Mhm.
point caused them, you know what, now I'm going to sign up for the webinar. Or maybe they didn't even know that you had a webinar, right? Or what is, I need to know what is that thing? Because then we focus on the content around that.
So I think it's maybe not necessarily one thing, but it may be a couple of things. But the dominating one thing right now would be a believable source of getting listings. And I think that
Okay.
is that's the challenge in the industry right now, is because listings are scarce. There's fewer
Right.
homes selling. And so it has to be a seemingly believable way to get listings. Now, in our content, when you look, if you were to watch one of our webinars, 8 out of 10 webinars, I think now, well, 9 out of 10, follow this pattern of let's say if the webinar itself is on how to do a listing presentation, AKA I'm going to share information with you to hopefully get you to sell my house. And we're sharing the listing presentation. The last 20 minutes of that webinar and every webinar that we have related to listings is now, we've just taught you about our listing presentation. We just taught you about our pre-listing packet. Now we're going to share with you our 5-step real estate marketing system that will deliver deliver listings consistently to you in
Right.
any market. And
Yeah.
so there's about a 10 to 15 minute training on the 5-step real estate marketing system, which then is a natural connection to the pitch or to the offer. See, once you've learned about our 5-step real estate marketing system, it creates a little bit of demand around, ooh, that's believable. Ooh, I see how that works. I need that stuff that I just saw. And we have that stuff that they just saw, right? We have the content, we have the website, we have the email blasters, we have, the social media library. So we have all of the tools and content for them to implement that 5-step real estate marketing system. And for most of our webinars, that is what they're looking for. Now we do have, or we're going back to an old way of making our pitch in our webinars that just recently proved to be successful again. And it's selling the Sports Illustrated football telephone, right? Hey, we're going to talk about expired listings. And so we have this expired listing campaign kit. You can get this kit for $1 when you join our club. By the way, you'll figure out the club later, right? So we're doing that Sports Illustrated telephone version.
Oh, right.
You probably got. Did you ever get Boys Life magazine? When you were a kid, right? It was all
Columbia
about
House, all that.
Columbia House, Sports Illustrated. Just get it. They just wanted to get you into the subscription. So
just to get you the first $1, the tripwire.
We used to do that model exclusively until 2020, and then in 2020 is when we shifted to training, or basically closing every one of our sales trainings with a discussion about the 5-step real estate marketing system, which then would naturally translate into, well, how do I get that stuff? Well, you get the marketing club.
Right. Well, how about this? I mean, you have these ones that are working super well for $1 a day. Can we make some of them just like combine different ones where you're explaining about listings, and then at the end you just append and here's some stuff about our now that you've learned about this, here's our 5-step real estate marketing system, and just try combinations of hooks, main body, and call to action. It's like a mini funnel in one. So it can be longer than a 1 minute video because your watch time is so good. That's the thing. So many people stay and watch. I think you can get away with this with longer video.
Yeah, just Kyle, it makes me think that if we
used to do with the retargeting, like, they watch this video, then we retarget to the next one. I think you can put them into the same video in this case with a little thing. Oh, and by the way, we have a system that will actually deliver these listings to you.
That's a good point, Dennis. I mean, if you look at some of these videos, we have we have 50% of people who watch a quarter of it end up watching the full thing. That's great. Pretty decent percentage of the total too.
This is fantastic. When you look at these stats, these are great. You can get away with a stronger call to action at the end, and it's leveraging grab more snippets, highlights from the webinars. Grab more of the $1, free expired listings, or whatever the thing is. Like, just try those other, and then pair them with your call to action. Try mix and match those combinations.
I think that we could create basically a secondary group of videos where it's lots of different ways of talking about 5-step real estate marketing system and getting listings. Dennis, one of the things that a thing that I'm hoping to accomplish with the content factory model and the dollar day strategy. And I've been paying more attention to YouTube because we're also replicating all of this on YouTube and Google.
Yes. YouTube's going to be, we were saying before, YouTube's going to be more powerful to you than Facebook.
So my thesis is that in several years, the people who own the audiences and have the audiences as assets will do better than those who have to pay somebody else to have access to their audience. That's a theory. 100%. That's a thesis I have. And it's coming from I've been learning from creators like Mr. Beast and all those folks.
It's not a thesis, it's a fact.
Yeah, that's what they're doing already, is developing those assets. And so when you prioritize audience, you basically give, and you try to make it as easy as possible to consume the content, right?
Right.
And so that is a thing that has become I look at it, and I look at companies like Inman News and Riz Media, and these are the traditional places that we would go to pay them to use their audience. But they've all adopted the Wall Street Journal model, which is to have a paywall behind their content. So now their audiences are contracting. Their audiences are contracting significantly.
Yeah, the publisher model's been in trouble the last 10 years. There's no way out of it.
So, and I remember literally 10 years ago saying to Kyle, we should just create our own version of Inman News, create our own audience. Well,
no, you have to. Yeah.
Now's the time. Now, in looking at what I'm seeing, more on our YouTube channel, because I'm still banned from doing ads on Facebook, so I don't even go in there anymore. But
that's funny.
But just from looking at the YouTube channel, I was like, oh wow, we're legitimately building an audience pretty quickly using this model. And so, I think that for me, the priority is building an audience. And then secondarily, how do we start to monetize it?
Yeah, YouTube is a huge arbitrage opportunity for you because it's a barrier to entry because of the production quality, and then people don't understand YouTube. But you're going to get 3 times better performance off of YouTube, but you have to sequence better and you have to be able to make long form videos, which you do. Because most people can't do long form video with decent production quality, they're just not even in the game. But you can do that, especially when you start collecting text messages and you start using that as a strong channel. Because these agents are out and about, they're not on their computer or whatever.
Text message has given us a dramatic lift recently.
Text message is just an email.
But that actually gets seen.
Yeah, that people actually open before it gets, in 5 years, it'll be abused to death like any channel.
Yeah, I think, Kyle, we just, maybe me, you, Sarah, Jarrett, get together and look at the existing data around what are some of the listing related topics that are hitting and say, okay, can we now layer on top of this? It's the natural question for a lot of this, right? If you look at the screen, Kyle, where it says why you're not getting listings, and that particular episode was all the things that people are doing that's preventing them from getting listings. Mm-hmm. The next question is to be able to say, well, do you want to know where to get listings? And I have here's a proven way to get them, and here's another proven way to get them, and here's another proven way to get them, so that it connects to all of our different bonus gifts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like that way of framing it. And Dennis, that just rang with what you were saying. We often sell people on like the sexy thing, the like chat GPT for real estate and how it's going to save you time, whatever. And then we sell them on the medicine once they sort of like have gotten it, like they've started paying attention, right? So it's kind of doing the same thing. Let's find the front end sexy stuff, and then we can give them the 5-step marketing system medicine. That's like, it's the believable solution to what they came to us on.
Yeah, chat GPT is just a hook, but you're always going to have the same call to action at the end. Yeah, just mix and match a combination of those and run TrueView ads all day, like minute plus 2 minute long TrueView ads.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was going to ask. Do you really like TrueView over the
I love TrueView. Last 5 or 6 years has been my favorite thing, but you have to disqualify them in the first 30 seconds, as you know. You have to tell them, this is not for you, unless you're this. Do not stay. Please click away if you are not this person. If you're not looking for listings, this is not for you.
Yeah, I think we can get, when you think about it from that perspective of like, all right, we'll just connect to the content, right? With the messaging, ultimately, if you kind of boil it down to a messaging problem, it's about taking if you look at the webinar is a great example, right? We spend the first 20 minutes factoring them, another 20 minutes really just giving them, good insights, actionable things to build trust. And then the last 20 minutes is preparing for the sale and delivering the sale. So it's kind of like in the same thing. What we want to do is, it's not 20 minutes, it's 1 minute or maybe 2 minutes, like
it's a movie trailer, Chris.
Yeah.
It's just a trailer to get them to do the whole thing.
And then just through the process of repetition and recency and frequencies, you start to get those results as we find the stuff that works. So,
and then get your tracking in place so we can measure it and we can pass back the right signal to Facebook and Google. So I'd schedule a little call. I think Kyle and Daniel should schedule a little call just to go over plumbing.
I think that's great, because that was the other part of my questions for a time, was just tracking all the ways dollar a day is working, right? Because it does seem to achieve and do a lot of things for you. Seeing the pixeled audience grow, that's good. Video views, page views. Then obviously the money is being able to track like the conversion stuff that happens, the leads, the webinar registrations, the purchases. And I feel like that's the biggest part of like that it just breaks and disconnects, and I can only kind of make educated guesses. So call with Daniel, get the Google Analytics stuff worked out. Is that the main way you track the stuff that's working through dollar a day, is through analytics, UTMs, all that stuff?
Yeah. Basically the events firing inside Tag Manager, which is all channels, not just, Google Analytics or Facebook ads or whatever.
I did recently get into that and set up some custom event triggers for like watching YouTube videos on our page and quality time spends on page, those sorts of things.
So there's a big shift, as you know, Kyle, that the switch from Universal to GA4 is from web pages to events. And the web has been like, the internet's made since the beginning has been about like web pages loading, but now there's so many things that people can do that's not based on a web page loading. So they had to make this shift at some point. But of course, they're trying to make it a Google, dominant view of the world. So they think it's like GA and Google Ads. Well, anything that can be tracked by a click or an event happening or staying on a page for a certain amount of time, or that's an event. And so GA4 is an event-driven model. Yeah, and I can send a booking link so you can have Daniel's calendar. You can just Pick a spot.
Dennis, how you been? We haven't connected in a while. What you been up to?
I've been traveling around. I'm flying to Nashville tonight to be the keynote speaker at this digital. I've been speaking at all these digital marketing conferences and all the vertical ones too. And you probably saw I've lost 35 pounds in the last 6 months.
I saw a post on there. I think you were doing like some you were at a gym bouncing onto.
Yeah, in fact, if I can today, before the flight leaves in 2 hours, I want to go to the trampoline park if I can, you know. And you burn so many calories you would not believe. Playing pickup basketball, because instead of everything being a step, everything's a jump. It's like I burned 3,500 calories yesterday.
Yeah, I've been doing martial arts, and actually, I'm just getting over a broken rib from fighting, and I have found that to be
too hardcore for me.
I find it to be a lot of fun fighting. You know, like it's great calorie burn. You know, sparring for an hour will probably burn a good 1,200 calories or something like that. But like you're drenched in after just 5 minutes. Actually, it turns out most people can't fight for more than 30 seconds without getting gassed out. That was me when I first started doing it. And then you develop, and then you can go. I followed my kids into it. My son's a really good fighter, and so I've been doing the stuff with him. But that's pretty cool. So traveling, I think I saw. Were you at Perry Marshall's event recently?
I was the MC.
How'd that go?
It was a lot of fun. I love Perry. He's such a deep thinker. He thinks the world is going to shit, and AI is not the salvation. It's great. You got a room full of super successful entrepreneurs that like to think deeply and see that this is a gold rush that's coming in that we need to jump on. Just like we've seen other gold rushes, which is the theme of the Definitive Traffic Summit was really about, all these AI tools and how it's changing. It's just, the STAR principle and the other things he teaches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. I haven't been, because we did his Advanced Mastery Network program, which is there.
Yeah.
We did that for a year, and that actually helped us because that's when we hardcore pivoted into becoming like an agency / technology company. So that was very helpful. But I still pay attention to what he's got going on, and I saw that you were going to be speaking at it, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love Perry.
Yeah, did you meet Sam? Because Sam was speaking at that event.
Sam Woods, yeah.
I think he did. Yeah. He was our copywriter for a long time.
I love Sam.
Yeah, Sam Woods was our copywriter for, I don't know, like 7 years until he decided to go full time into AI. Literally like last year, once ChatGPT came out, he was like, "All right, guys, I'm sorry, I'm going to go do this thing now." It was like totally good.
Yeah.
Wow, what a cool guy. Yeah, we had dinner like Friday or something.
Such a small world. You know what I mean?
No, very funny.
It's just a small world. That's really cool. Yeah, Sam's awesome. He's done a lot of amazing work for us.
Wow. Cool.
Well, you have to let us know when you're in Austin again, whether you're doing something with DM or just swinging by. Let us know. Meet up.
Dude, let's just get some barbecue or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hang out at the hotel lobby for a little bit, whatever.
We can pick a good barbecue spot.
There's increasingly there's more of them now. I don't know if they're
more options.
There's definitely a lot more options now. I don't know if we can ever get past the classics of like Franklin or Salt Lake or whatever, but still there's a lot of interesting places out there.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let us know when you're in town. We'll keep checking in. We appreciate all your help. This has been a lot. I mean, I gotta say, the content factory model, now that we're using it, is phenomenal. Like we can see the tremendous. I've been paying attention to the growth on our YouTube channel, and it's been phenomenal to be able to see once it all is in place. Right, we have our long form, we have our short form. The short form's being promoted, and they're being top graded constantly. Our views are constantly showing up, are up over previous months or over previous periods. Our subscriber, we were only getting like 30 subs a month on YouTube, and we're up to over like 100, averaging over 100 now a month. And so, and that's just getting started with this. So I can't wait to see when this is really, working for us well, that the types of results it's going to get. So thank you very much for sharing.
Just scratching the surface of using long form for SEO too. We got this tool called Content at Scale. It's just an AI tool that will take the YouTube video and sort of give you a pretty good filled out outline to start from. That's like optimized around SEO keywords for it. So that combined with one of our team members turns it into a blog post. Now we're actually filling out the site with hopefully some stuff that can like start ranking, get the high quality stuff just constantly churned out, hopefully find a few hits. It's all starting to work. Yeah.
It's all repurposing, dude. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's very awesome to see it all coming together, though. I feel like when you first started, when we first learned about Dollar a Day, and even when you first started sharing Content Factory, I was telling this to Kyle. I was like, my understanding of what Dennis taught us goes deeper with every passing week and every passing month. And as we make videos and as we look at the data, it's like, oh, that's what he meant. He meant it deeper than what we actually understood it when we first learned about it. So it's a lot of fun getting into this and seeing what's working. So we appreciate you very much.
I appreciate you. Yeah, I think the whole martial arts thing, we just practice the fundamentals over and over again, and we have these deeper realizations of doing the same moves.
Yeah, totally. It's like I thought I knew how to make a good short form video, and all of a sudden I was like, I'm scratching the surface of how to make a good short form video. I have a little list off to the side of all these hooks that I want to be able to pursue for the short form, and I'm taking classes with Mr. Beast's editor and stuff like that to learn, what are they doing on that side, because we're marketers, and so we tend to destroy everything, but they're creators and they try to keep it pure, right? So it's an interesting world to get into, to try to learn how to just keep doing it better.
Well, Tom Breeze runs the ads for Mr. Beast on YouTube, and Brian McGinn is the video editor for Alex Formosa and all these other people, and I've interviewed them one-on-one, and they basically are validating all the stuff, all the fundamentals that we already know. But it's just kind of nice. It feels good to have it validated and re-verified, the same principles.
Well, I found what I find it's interesting about the creators is that many of them are coming from either film or editing, either backgrounds or pursuits and passions. And so they don't think like marketers on the surface level, but then eventually, if they want to be successful on YouTube, they have to learn things like CTR and all that stuff. And so I feel like they bring the pure side meets the evil, and then we're the evil side as marketers meeting the pure side. Somewhere we come together and have a happy medium. So
ultimately, the creativity wins. That's what Sam was preaching about. I agree, because the tools will generate all sorts of stuff, but we're the masters. Not to be too philosophical.
That's where it gets interesting. I was listening to a video from, was it his name, Sam Altman or something like that, and he was talking about will AI ever become conscious, and he thinks it will be. You just have to redefine what consciousness means, So
but then Perry's whole point was that if you take a bunch of calculators and string them out to infinity, will they ever wake up?
No. But I think that's what's interesting, is that from a cultural perspective, we do redefine things, so if we were to redefine what consciousness means, because I think in their video they made the point that, well, if it acts like it's alive, what is that, a gray area? If it's acting like it's alive, it doesn't know that it's alive or not. So
I don't know, it's the West world, weird.
So deep. Sometimes it gets a little bit too past, it's like, oh, it's hurting my brain, I don't want to think about
it. Awesome, gents.
Cool. Thanks so much for the time, Dennis. The deep dive helped just let us know we're on the right track. Got some great ideas for the next layer of videos to stack on. So super appreciate it, man.
Yeah, keep me posted on the results, and then schedule a time later this week or next week with Daniel.
Cool.
Will do.
Thank you. Peace.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thanks again.
Take care.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.